Yo, Ro Khanna has lost his mind. He has. He really has. Before we get started, though, once again, Tulsi is inching very, very close to hitting 65,000 donors, individual, unique donations. And you can help her do that by clicking on the link below. Let's get her on that debate stage so that we can hear her very valuable anti-war stances. Watch her, call some people out for some things that they didn't support, and they supposedly, they care about things like stopping ISIS, but didn't want to support, stop arming terrorism legislation. I'm not saying no names, but I'm just saying we need to get her on the debate stage so they can talk about that type of stuff. Now, with that being said, Lord, sweet baby Jesus, Buddha, and Allah, Ro Khanna, bruh, what is going on? See, I'm gonna read to y'all this tweet real quick. And we're gonna have a little conversation about Mr. Ro Khanna. Cause me and him, this isn't the first time I've had issues with this guy. And we're going. So today on Twitter, he said, RT, Russia Today, is afraid that Maddow spoke the truth when she said we have to go back to the 1700s to find a time when a foreign power intervened in our elections like Russia did in 2016. Every American should shed tears of outrage at what the Russians did to our democracy. Ro, this ain't it, dog. This isn't it. This is not it. Ro, who do you work for again? I'm just curious. I know that I got an update a while ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago. You were announced as the co-director of a major campaign. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Oh, fuck! You work on Bernie Sanders' campaign. You work for Bernie Sanders right now. Okay. Why? First of all, are you defending Rachel Maddow at all? Rachel Maddow is worth something close to $20 to $30 million, somewhere in that ballpark. Why do you think she gets paid so much money, Ro? I'm going to let you know. I'm in the journalism industry. I know a little bit about the finances on the independent side and on the mainstream side. And I'm going to tell you this. You don't get paid. Your net worth doesn't become 20 to 30 million because you're getting paid to deliver the news and tell the truth. The people who deliver the news and tell the truth, well, first of all, they don't get their own show. And if they do, ask Ed Schultz. It's taken down rather quickly, but also you're getting paid not only to not tell the truth, but you're getting paid to lie. Not like a little lie. Like, hey, we're going to feed you this lie. Make sure that the American public hears it. That is what her job is. And in that job description, somewhere in the fine print towards the bottom, it said, oh, and by the way, screw over Bernie Sanders. I don't know if you remember that, all the nonsense she peddled back in 2016, as much as she propped up Hillary back in 2016, as much as she insulted Bernie Sanders supporters back in 2016, the guy that you worked for in 2019. Yeah, that wasn't that long ago. It was only 2-3 years ago, bro. This Russiagate lie that she perpetuated to basically distract from the fact that the guy that you work for now was cheated back in 2016. It wasn't that long ago. It's only 2-3 years ago. Bro, this ain't it, dog. I mean, we have to go back to the 1700s to find a time where a foreign power intervened in our elections like Russia did in 2016? No, well, we don't. You know what we got to go back to? I don't know, like yesterday with Israel, day before that with Saudi Arabia, day before that with Qatar, day before that with the UAE in general. You know what else we don't have to go back that far to look for? The last time we've interfered in somebody's elections. That would be today, probably. I'm just going to take a wild guess. I don't know, but I'm going to take a wild guess and say we're trying to intervene in someone's election somewhere as we speak. Venezuela being one of them. Bro, First of all, that tweet doesn't even make any sense. We have to go back to the 1700s to find a time when a foreign nation intervened in our elections like Russia did in 2016. Bro, supposedly, according to the mainstream media, they use Russian Twitter bots. They were on Twitter in the 1700s, and I'm not a historical expert. I'm really not. I know a little bit about history, and I know that Thomas Edison and all them and Nikola Tesla were pretty advanced. Mostly Nikola Tesla. Thomas Edison was a thief, but they were pretty advanced for their time. I know Nikola Tesla did some fantastic stuff. But even when Nikola Tesla was alive, I got some bad news for you. Bro, they ain't have Twitter in the 1700s. And once again, I know I'm not crazy, but I feel like maybe when did we become a country? Hold on, we're gonna figure this out right now. I might be crazy, but I think I might. Give me a second. We're gonna figure this out right now. When did America Declaration of Independence? Yeah, okay. I know I wasn't crazy. So, Ro, are you trying to imply that Rachel Maddow was right by trying to say that we haven't seen someone interfere in our elections like this since Great Britain was in charge of the United States of America? Is that what? So, what the British? There was some British bots. British bots was on Twitter. Hey, fuck off, mate. You better get out of here with that nonsense. I'm trying to do my best 1700s British accents. I don't really know how they talked back in the 1700s, but I'm just going to give that was a guess of how they talk, or at least how they would sound on Twitter. Because of course, they on Twitter, the Twitter bots are just caricatures of real people and what they think they talk like, and it comes out. But that was the whole argument, right? Is that they tried to interfere with Russian bots, which, by the way, isn't true. I'm willing to bet money on that. It was New Knowledge and Media Matters who did that. Remember the ones who got caught cheating in Alabama for Doug Jones? And they got caught doing that by creating Russian bots. Just want to remind Ro of this. I know you're a busy guy, working on the campaign of the guy who Rachel Maddow does consistently trash on a regular basis. The guy that Rachel Maddow consistently undermines. That guy that you're working for now. I know you're busy with that. So sometimes you don't get to read all that good stuff. And I'm just going to let you know that I'm almost 100% positive. Once again, I don't think that Great Britain was using Twitter bots in the early 1700s. I'm not an expert at history, but I'm almost positive that wasn't the case. Russiagate, if Ro doesn't know, see, this is the thing about Ro. Many people in my comment section on a regular basis ask me about Ro Khanna, and I always, I don't really answer it because it's like it's a convoluted view that I have of him. I call Ro Khanna a progressive careerist, and I mean that. It doesn't mean that I think he's a bad guy. It doesn't mean that I think he's nefarious. It doesn't mean that I think that he has bad intentions or he acts in bad faith. However, with that being said, Ro Khanna is the type of person who just can't. We had no idea who this man was until he became a quote unquote Justice Democrat. Now, as a Justice Democrat, which in and of itself is always suspect to me. When you claim to have been a Bernie Sanders progressive, when you claim to have ran on being a progressive, then I'm curious. I need to see the Bernie, the selfie with Bernie Sanders, my Bernie Sanders t-shirts. What crowd were you in? I got to look at your old Twitter profile and your Facebook profile. I need to know where your receipts were. I need to know. I see with AOC, I had a little bit more faith in her because I know for a fact that she had been working with the Green Party and working with Bernie Sanders or working with activism and organizing. She had the receipts. So I was cool with it. Right? I don't know who Ro is. I've never seen Ro before in my life before he was thrown at us by TYT, which was not a good sign to start off with anyway. So whenever Ro is thrown in our face like he was, I'm immediately I'm suspicious. Not necessarily, once again, because I think he has nefarious intentions, but because, do you really know what's going on? Because if you're going to be thrusted in our face as a progressive, there are certain responsibilities that come with that. You have to be on point like a thorn 24/7, 365. You will be put in situations like this, and you will indeed be shut down and embarrassed the moment that you respond like this. And it's for lack of education. It's for lack of experience. And to be honest with you, it's for what he believes, his personal benefit. Because he's a progressive careerist. He thinks that Bernie Sanders supporters want the Rachel Maddow votes. Like that we think we care about what Rachel Maddow has to say. It's the total opposite, bro. Anything Rachel Maddow says, a Bernie supporter gonna be like, man, shit, I hope Bernie don't quote her, because we don't like Rachel Maddow. We don't play well with Rachel. Rachel has lied to the American public for 3 years, Ro. Rachel has been one of the seeds that was planted that ended up growing into people losing jobs, that branched off into people losing friends, branched off into people losing relationships. Ro, our country is more split now than it's ever been because of people like Rachel Maddow. And she damn near is like responsible on the media side for 60% of a lot of the nonsense that other media like personalities and Twitter personalities will regurgitate. She's responsible for a lot of that nonsense. You can't do stuff like this, Ro. You're not helping your situation. You're not helping Bernie Sanders. You may think you're doing it, but I'm telling you, any activist, any organizer, anyone who is in the streets, anyone who is in the trenches will let you know this is not it. You can't do this. You are hurting your cause. You are not helping it. Russia, if they did influence in our election in any way, form, or fashion, if they did, there still hasn't been any proof that they have. The only proof you want me to rely on is some random anonymous intelligence agents that NBC used once upon a time with 17 intelligence agencies all agreeing, which we found out was bullshit. Like, bro, if they did interfere, they didn't interfere more than Saudi Arabia did. They didn't interfere more than Israel did in AIPAC. They haven't interfered more than any other superpower. In fact, I would even argue that they've interfered significantly less, because being in Russia's position, because America and its allies are overall stronger than Russia as a combined unit, economically and militarily, like as a unit, we are stronger than the one country of Russia. They have to be above reproach, because no matter if they are above reproach, we will still lie. Ro, when you feed stuff like this, why do you think Trump pulled out of the nuclear treaty with Russia? So he would go out of his way to prove that he was not a Putin puppet. You were helping the military-industrial complex when you pitch bullshit like this, man. Sorry, mama. Like, oh, sweet baby. Jesus, man, come on. Can't deal with this. Like I said, this is like your second or third strike, bro. You had I remember when you went on you didn't endorse AOC. Instead, you endorsed Joe Crowley, and then you pretended like you didn't know he was running against AOC. You pretended. You even went on Jimmy Dore's show and said that you didn't know she was running, and so that's why you decided to go ahead and co-endorse both of them. Question. Ro, you know that's a damn lie. You know that was a lie. Why did you go out of your way to endorse Joe Crowley if he wasn't running against anybody that you, like, you say you didn't know she was running, and then you say, Like you endorsed him because he had endorsed some marijuana legislation. But Ro, you and I both know that you got contacted by AOC's campaign to endorse you, and you damn near flat out said no. And then you endorsed Crowley when you're supposedly a Justice Democrat, when you're supposedly a Bernie-crat, when you supposedly are an advocate for people, the primary people who take corporate money, not endorse them. See, once again, I don't know where you came from, Ro, and that bothers me. Bernie, I know where he came from. Nina, I know where she came from. Tulsi, I know where she came from. Even other people in the campaign, I know where they came from, even if I don't know them personally. Bree, David Sirota, but we don't know where you came from. And things like this are going to make people wonder where you came from. Like I said, I don't think Ro's a bad guy. I don't think he's necessarily nefarious. But I will say this. We are limited by our experiences. And this shows that Ro should not be in PR. Okay, first of all, he should not be in public relations. Because Ro has not been talking to Bernie supporters if he thinks that this is what they want to see. Thank you for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Help us reach our goal of 500 patrons. You can do so by donating as little as $1 by clicking on the Patreon link in the description below. Don't forget, join us on Roku and JustNForm. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. And remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.